If you're in a relationship, whether it's old, new, great, good, mediocre, or bad, our next guest has outlined 10 habits that'll help you make the changes that you need to rekindle or amp up your romantic connection. Life coach and author of Love Simplified, שמעיה David, is here with more. Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit more about this book and why you decided to write it.
Well, this book, as the name suggests, contains 10 habits that I believe that anyone who will adopt them, and they are easy to adopt, will be unable to have anything but the most wonderful relationship, loving relationship in his life. And the reason I wrote it is because I'm an obsessed person. I'm obsessed with having the best, most fulfilling, loving relationships that I can. And I've had them for many years. And I see many people that don't have love in their and it makes me sad. I think it's a horrible waste of human happiness and time. So I decided I need to share what I know about love and maybe be able to help others attain what I have.
Well, I think a lot of times people assume that they know everything there is to know about love. You know, they feel like they have a lot of experience, they've gone through the ringer, but the truth is they may not know that love is actually a habit, right? What do you mean by that?
Well, most people think of love as an emotion, and it certainly is, but it's not only an emotion. Love is also an action. If you think about it, there is no love. It doesn't exist unless there's a person doing the loving. So love is an action. And any action that you perform routinely becomes a habit. So I think of love as a habit, the habit of doing the correct love actions. And I think it's a great change in mindset, because emotions, mostly people think of them as being uncontrollable, but actions are easier to control. So if we can control the actions, the habits that dictate the love that we have, we can control our love life. It's not something that we must endure just the way it happens. It's in our hands. I think it's a very hopeful thought.
Well, and that sort of speaks to the fact that you think people have to take total responsibility in their relationship. What does it mean and what does it look like to do that?
It means, first and foremost, that you cannot blame anyone or anything for the results that you get in your relationship. And it's difficult for people to do, to take such 100% responsibility for everything. And people usually say, hey, but I didn't do this, I didn't do that, it's not my fault. And we have to differentiate fault from responsibility. You may not be at fault in the things that happens in your life, but it's still your responsibility to make it into what you want it to be. And if you don't assume such total responsibility, you're making yourself the victim of others, your spouse. I don't like to be a victim. I don't think it's necessary. I think we can all take control of our life and our relationship and lead it to where we want it to be.
Well, and there's so much in this book. Like I mentioned, there's tons of tips to help people in their relationships. So can you share maybe just a couple of practical romance tips?
Well, the first thing about romance is that people need to differentiate between romantic actions, the things that we do, like buying flowers or whatever people think about as romantic, and what I consider to be a true romance, which in my mind it is just putting the emotional state of your spouse in a high priority in your life. So if you consider your actions within the relationship in this term, is it contributing, is it helping the emotional state of my spouse? Will it make him or her happier, more fulfilled, feel more secure? Then you do it. And this becomes a romantic act, whether you are kissing or you're doing the laundry. It doesn't matter. It becomes a romantic act. And then your entire life is filled with romance. And it's great for the relationship.
Well, and again, this book goes into so much, including eroticism, what a sincere apology means. There's really so much that we could touch on. Maybe you'll come back and tell us more about your tips. It'd be great to have you and hear your advice. Thank you so much, Shmaya. Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. And if you'd like to learn more about Love Simplified, practical habits to creating the ultimate loving relationship, visit love-simplified.com. And stay where you are. We'll be right back.